5 dangerous teenagers reacting to serving life in prison. Teenage is a very special period of our lives. At this point in time, a person starts to develop a personality that is going to go with them throughout his whole life. You can either make it or break it. So, today we have a very special video that sheds light on the lives of 5 teenagers who are now serving life sentences in prison. These young men were once just like any other teenager, full of hopes and dreams, but their actions led them down a path of destruction and ultimately landed them behind bars for the rest of their lives. Learn about their crimes and witness their reactions to being sentenced to life in prison. Imagine being only a teenager and knowing that you will spend the rest of your life behind bars. No more school dances, no more first dates, and no more second chances. It's a harsh reality that these 5 teenagers are now facing, but what led them to commit such heinous crimes and ultimately led to life sentences in prison? Join us as we delve into their stories and hear their reactions to the verdict. It's a glimpse into a world that most of us will never know, a world where every choice has a consequence that can never be undone. Number 1. Brandon Spencer. Brandon Spencer, who was charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. In this video, we will discuss what happened and how the case was resolved. Brandon Spencer was in Los Angeles County Superior Court, where he was facing charges of attempted murder. It all started on a Halloween night when the 19-year-old attended a crowded party on the University of Southern California campus in Los Angeles. Suddenly, gunshots went off and chaos ensued. As everyone scattered, Spencer reportedly ran but was stopped in a parking lot a half-mile away, where he was picked up by LAPD for questioning. A couple of days later, he was charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. 4 people were injured, but fortunately, no one died. Prosecutors argued during the trial that the shooting was a result of a feud between Spencer and a rival gang member, and that he was a documented, well-known gang member himself. Throughout the trial, Spencer maintained his innocence, but the jury did not agree with his plea. Nearly 50 family members and friends packed the courtroom as the judge read the sentence. Sheriff deputies had to restrain Spencer as he banged his head on the defense table. Despite the emotional outburst, Spencer was sentenced to 40 years to life for 4 counts of attempted murder. He expressed remorse for his actions and said that he was sorry for what had happened. However, he still maintained his innocence and stated that he was not a bad person but made a mistake. Number 2. Jennifer Mee. Jennifer Mee, who gained international fame as the Hiccup Girl when she was 15 years old, but later found herself in the Pinellas County Justice Center, facing charges of first-degree murder. Jennifer Mee was accused of setting up a robbery with victims she met online. She recruited her boyfriend at the time, Lamont Newton, and another friend, Lauren Rayford, to help rob victims. Mee met up with a 22-year-old man she encountered online, lured him to a vacant home, and her 2 friends robbed and shot the man, which killed him. They got only $50 for the robbery and murder. When Mee was first arrested, she had a phone call with her mother, which was recorded. In the conversation, she admitted her involvement in the crime. She was later found guilty of first-degree murder, and the judge sentenced her to life in prison without parole. Mee's co-defendants, Rayford and Newton, were also convicted of first-degree felony murder and were sentenced to life in prison. Number 3. Shondell Jackson. Shondell Jackson, who was recently sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for the murder of a young university student. Shondell Jackson and his friend were reportedly out hunting for victims when they spotted Nathan Potter leaving a bar. Nathan was a 21-year-old college student at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Jackson and his friends stalked Nathan, accosted him, and demanded money. When Jackson learned that Nathan didn't have any cash on him, he shot him, which resulted in his death. After the murder, Jackson fled to Mississippi, but he was later arrested with the help of his uncle, who tipped off police. During the trial, Jackson was seen making gestures towards the victim's family, and when he was escorted out of the courtroom, he was seen smiling at them. Moments before the sentencing, Jackson's mother addressed the court and claimed that she never had any clue that her son was involved in the murder. She stated that when she heard about it on the news, she cried and couldn't imagine what the victim's mother was going through. She also pleaded with the court not to take her son's life away from him, claiming that he was not a monster. However, despite the plea of Jackson's mother, the judge sentenced him to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Jackson had an outburst in the courtroom, and as the deputies restrained him, one of his family members screamed at the victim's family. Jackson's friend, who acted as the lookout during the murder, pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Number 4. Dylan Shoemaker. Dylan Shoemaker, who was convicted of second-degree murder. Dylan Shoemaker was just 16 years old when he was charged with the murder of a 23-month-old child that he was babysitting. According to reports, Shoemaker was taking care of the child while his girlfriend was at work. Shoemaker was inside a Springville home that he shared with his parents when he beat the child. As a result of his injuries, the young child died. Shoemaker was later arrested and charged with the murder of the toddler, along with child abuse charges. When Shoemaker entered the courtroom for his sentencing, he started crying and telling everyone how sorry he was. He claimed that he didn't mean to kill the child and that he never wanted to hurt the child or for him to die. However, the jury didn't buy his story, and Shoemaker was convicted of second-degree murder. During Shoemaker's trial, it was revealed that he had a cell phone call with his mother while he was awaiting trial. In the phone call, Shoemaker stated, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me. I can't take what was done. I wish I could. I'll give my life for Austin." This statement led the judge to impose the maximum punishment on Shoemaker. The judge stated that Shoemaker would be sentenced to an intermediate term of imprisonment, which will have a maximum of life. The court imposed a minimum sentence of 25 years, but that sentence was later modified to 18 years to life. Number 5. Martese Fuller. Fuller was on trial in Kenosha County, Wisconsin, accused of killing his ex-girlfriend and attempting to kill her mother. He was found guilty on 3 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide. The incident occurred when 15-year-old Fuller reportedly broke into his ex-girlfriend's house armed with a handgun. He shot and killed his ex-girlfriend as she listened to music in her bedroom. When the mother emerged from her bedroom, she was also shot twice, but she survived and was able to identify Fuller to the police. Despite his guilty verdict, Fuller continued to maintain his innocence. During the sentencing, he put together a statement that was read on his behalf, apologizing to the family of his ex-girlfriend and expressing his love for her. He also maintained his innocence and asked the people to see him for who he truly is, not the person that the media has made him out to be. However, the judge was not convinced and delivered a harsh sentence. He ordered that Fuller be sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision, citing the seriousness of the acts and the need to protect the public. In conclusion, the stories of these 5 teenagers serve as a reminder of the devastating consequences that can result from reckless and dangerous behavior. We hope their stories inspire viewers to make positive choices and avoid similar paths that can lead to life behind bars.